Now let's take a look at this question. It says the perimeter of a square is 56 centimeters. The first thing I want you to think about is what is a square. So when you hear about a square, what shape do you think about? How many sides does it have? What does that shape look like? So can you tell me, when you think of a square, how many sides does a square have? How many sides? How many sides does a square have? So triangle is a three-sided. Very good. 4, right? A square falls into the category of four-sided figures. And there's something very special about this square. You think you can remember what that is? So a square and a rectangle, they both have 4 sides, but there's something that's a little different about the square in comparison to the rectangle, alright? So if I tell you that this is a square, right? Although it's not drawn all that proportional, what I need you to remember about the square is this. All the sides of a square are equal. What that means, if they tell you the length of one side, you know the length of all 4 sides. And perimeter. What is perimeter? You can tell me what a perimeter, what is the perimeter of a shape? So what is perimeter? Now perimeter is measured in centimeters. So earlier we talked about area, right? We calculated the area of the shape on the grid. We calculated the area of a rectangle using shapes that it formed. We deal with perimeter now. So what is perimeter? If area is the surface that it is enclosing, what do you think perimeter is? Alright, so just asking, right? You know how some houses, they have a fence around the yard, enclosing the house inside the fence? You ever notice that? Some houses have fences, right? So if I tell you that the fence is what is on the perimeter of some people's property, right? A fence marks off the perimeter of a person's property. What do you think the perimeter is in that case? If the fence is on the outside of the property, what do you think it is? And the fence going right around the property, right? What do you think it is? So if they refer to the side as the length, right? Length is a distance. Length is measured in centimeters. Perimeter is also measured in centimeters. So if you look here, you see that the perimeter is in centimeters. So what they're telling us basically is a distance. And that distance, the perimeter, is the distance around the entire shape. So if they ever tell you about perimeter, they're telling you about the distance around the shape. And the distance around the shape, for different shapes, you need to know, well, what are the properties of that shape. So in the case of the square, we said that all 4 sides are equal. So if they tell you the perimeter is 56 centimeters, how are we using the perimeter of 56 centimeters to work out the length of one side? Right? So this is why, like I said, we would go through the solutions together and we would try to see where you need to, improve little things, right? So the first thing is, perimeter is the distance around the shape. right? So the distance around the square, if we look at it carefully, the distance around the square is the length of not just one side, but how many sides does this square have?
4.
4. And they all are identical, right? So if they all are identical, that means that you're just basically finding 4 times the length of one side. So the perimeter, so I'm going to write that down, the perimeter of a square is 4 times the length of one side, right? So usually we use S to indicate the length of a side in a square, right? 4 times S. If the perimeter is 4 times S and we're trying to find the length of one side, essentially what we should do is take the perimeter divided by 4. If we divide the perimeter by 4, we're going to figure out what number we multiplied 4 by to get 56. You see the number that we multiplied 4 by to get 56? That number is the length of the side of the square. So to get the length of the side of the square, here what you have to do is divide your perimeter by 4. So if we want to get the length of one side, divide 56 by 4. So I'm going to give you a minute to work that out, and you will tell me what the length of the side of the square is, right? So a minute. Let me see if I can calculate it. You do your calculation on your side, and then we are going to put the answer together. If you need to go over the division, we'll go it over. Alright? Do we have an answer? So when we divide 56 by 4, right, I'm going to write it in a different way and we can work on it. So 56 divided by 4,
14.
Very nice. So how many times can 4 divide 5?
0.8.
So 4 could go into 5 once, right? Remember 1 by 4 is
4.
4. And what's 5 take away 4?
4.
1. And now bring down the 6. So this number is now 16. How many times 4 could go into 16 without leaving a remainder? 4 multiplied by what will give us 16? Check your timetable quick. 4 times tables.
4.
Very good. So 4 fours would give me 16, right? So 4 fours is 16. And since 16 take away 16 is 0, we have no remainder. So 56 divided by 4 is 14, just like you were telling me earlier, right? 14. Alright. So what is our answer for this question?
14.
There you go, 14. So you write 14 there. Alright?